Hello everyone, thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning and welcome to this educational presentation where today I want to talk to you about a tool that can easily determine the strength of any trend. Now, even though this tool is not a strategy or a system for getting you in at the bottom or getting you out at the top, it can really give you some insight as to the strength or how much more momentum is left in a move. And this can really help with your trading because, as you know, our whole core here at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies, our entire philosophy is all about helping you to make your own trading decisions. So this is one more tool that you can use to make your trading decisions as to whether you want to stay in a trade, whether you want to get out, or whether you even want to decide to get in, as this tool may be giving you different information. For example, let me just share with you an older chart here. And as we can see in Netflix, let's say, as we look here, that we had a really nice run and you were lucky enough to get involved and buy Netflix somewhere around these levels, okay? Now, as you had this really nice run, you're starting to think, wow, maybe I want to take some profits, or is this thing going to keep going up? Or maybe I should get out entirely, or maybe I should think about buying some more, all right? Well, with this tool, you would have gotten signals right here, and then again right here that this particular run was really getting weak on strength and it was really running out of gas. So you could have made a decision whether to exit all your shares, maybe to tighten your stops, or maybe if you were thinking about purchasing Netflix to hold off because this happened later on, okay? I'm going to show you how simple it is to really determine this and get these different insights with our platform. This is the PTS Primo Charting Platform, the educational portal that actually teaches you how to trade and gives you this insight. So, this is going to be a great presentation on a Saturday, great educational webinar. Thanks for joining us. My name is Steven Primo. I'm the president and founder of Specialist Trading. I've been trading for roughly 42 years now, and I developed this tool with Pro Trader Strategies to give you more insight into making your own trading decisions. Now, someone would say, well, why do I have to focus so much on that? Why can't you just tell me where to get in and where to get out, where to buy, where to sell, how high something's going to go, how low something's going to go? Because if you think about it, that's the way our entire industry is based on. All you have to do is go to a website, a chat room, or listen to the guys on TV talk about what they think you should buy, what they think you should sell, where you enter, where you should exit. And if this works so well, if this was really based on a really successful model, then why has it been estimated that upwards of 85% of all traders fail? If it's really just as simple as following what someone else does, some so-called successful trader, then why do most traders fail? Well, it stands to reason that that really doesn't work, that there's no consistency in that model. The only thing that I have found that works in my 42 years is making your own trading decisions and not relying on someone or something else to tell you how to trade. So that's where Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies come in. We help fill that gap by providing you with the tools and information so that you can ultimately make your own trading decisions. I've been trading, as I said, for over 4 decades now. This is the only way one can become a consistent trader. And so that's what we're trying to do here. We don't profess to have systems or methods that never lose or have a 99% win-loss ratio. We don't believe in that. We're just giving you high quality, high consistency techniques and methods that have stood the test of time. And you'll see today how powerful but how simple this tool is that can really help you with your trading. Now, before we begin, as always, we are first required by law to share this with you. So please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results. First of all, starting on some older charts to give you an insight in how to actually apply this technique. And then I'm going to open up the presentation to actual live real-time charts that were updated as up to yesterday, and show you how this tool works in recent markets. But please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the actual performance results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. And also, well, please remember that all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. So as you're taking a brief moment to view our required disclaimer, once again, I know we've had a lot of people that have decided to follow us, but there are still some of you who have not. So please, we invite each and every one of you to follow us on Twitter. There's our handle right there. I would suggest copying that down. We post a lot of great free educational information on a daily basis. Anywhere from signals our strategies have generated to little bits of financial wisdom. Lots of great free education. So feel free to follow us on Twitter. Okay, so once again, as I stated, and as I state every week in the beginning of all of our presentations, we're different from other webinars you may have attended in the fact that we are only an educational company. So that's all we want to do. We want to educate you so that you can be in charge. So that's what we're going to be doing today. But once again, since we want to educate you, I know you're going to have questions, and I want to take all your questions, but please wait till the very end to ask any. I promise I'll get to each and every one of them. This won't be a real long presentation today, but please, if we stop for every slide, we'll be here far too long. So please, if you have questions, wait till the end, and then I'll tell you about a great offer we also have for everyone attending today. Okay? So, one more thing I want to mention. This is being recorded, and a lot of you are always wondering if this is recorded. Yes, it is. We will send each and every one of you a link to this recording at the end of the today. So don't worry if you were not able to stay or if you had technical issues, you will get a link to this recording. All right, so let's begin today's educational webinar. Now, here's what my mentors taught me, because believe it or not, when I first started trading some 42 years ago, I struggled the same way 99.9% of all traders struggle. Even though I was on the floor, I was making markets in roughly about 60 stocks. I worked on the trading floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. I was a specialist. I made markets in roughly about 60 stocks. So if you wanted to buy or sell a stock, you had to come up to me, and I sold you the stock shares or I bought them from you. All right? Even though I was able to purchase and sell off my own ideas, I was having a really difficult time. I was just barely breaking even. And I was lucky enough to have some mentors who were specialists themselves, who've been trading about 40 or 50 years individually, and they taught me things that have sustained me now, so that I can trade now for 40 years. And this is one of the first things they taught me. They said, Steve, the market, not some guy in a chat room, not some guy on TV, or not some master system, but the market, the chart in front of you that you're trading, is always telling you what it wants to do. Your only job as a trader is to listen to the market and then jump on board. You see, but for some reason, we've been taught the opposite. We're always taught to listen to some guy in a chat room. We're taught to listen to the economic news, okay? Some indicators are supposed to come out. Or we're taught to listen to some pundit on TV tell us what he thinks of the market, what we should be buying or selling. But we never listen to the source. And that's the chart right in front of you. I know myself, I didn't do that either. And that's why I was struggling. So I asked my mentors, I said, how do I listen to the market? Once I finally realized that they were right, I said, well, how do I do it? So they taught me a number of techniques and many things I share with you on these Saturday and my weekly webinars on Wednesday. But today I'm going to share with you a technique that can really help you listen to the market. Now, it's not designed to get you out of the top. It's not designed to get you into the bottom. It may take a little while to unfold, but it really gives you a good insight into what the market wants to do, as opposed to what some guy in a trading room is telling you what it wants to do. So this is our new custom crosshair. This is a technique I put together and generated with ProTrader Strategies. We developed it, experimented with it, and I use it on a daily basis. It really helps me, and it really makes no difference what market you trade. It really makes no difference what time frame you trade, and it really makes no difference what direction you want to trade. It's a great insight into finding out if there's still strength left in a certain move or not, okay? So let's first talk about what a standard crosshair is. Most charting platforms have a standard crosshair. You click on the icon and you get this basically this kind of cross looking thing where it basically has a vertical and horizontal line that intersect. That's a standard crosshair. You put them over the price of the stock or the future of the currency pair, whatever you're trading. Here is this custom crosshair, which we have developed. It still has the basic vertical and horizontal lines intersecting, but it also has a top diagonal line and a bottom diagonal line. Now, these are going to tell you and give you a great insight into the strength as we share with you how exactly to apply them. Okay, so these are the requirements for this particular technique and how to use the custom crosshair. First of all, you're going to need our buy-sell line. Now, don't worry, you don't have to have a special indicator to do that. You don't need to purchase some $1,000 tool. The buy-sell line is simply the 50-period moving average. But we make it really simple to access on our platform because everything is one click away. For example, we look at that older chart in Netflix. If you want to get the buy-sell line, you simply click on the upper green strategy tab right here. Drop-down menu appears, and there's the buy-sell line. It's simply the 50-period moving average. So we want to look at the 50-period moving average. And you just plot it like this, okay? Now, the second requirement is obviously our custom crosshair. But you have to know how to apply it because we apply it differently than the way most platforms have a crosshair. Usually when they have a crosshair, you put it over the price of whatever you're looking at to determine, a high or a low or where you think price is going to be going. We use it differently. Remember, we're not looking at it to determine how high price will go or how low. We're looking at it to determine if there is strength left in the current trend. So as we see here, the first thing you want to do is you want to apply this to some market that has had a really large move, either up or either down. As you can see here, we're looking at the large move that was up in Netflix, all right? Because this is not going to really apply to a sideways market or to a market that just moved a little bit, because we're looking for an overextension and to see if it's run out of steam or if there's still more power in that move, all right? So now we have the move here in Netflix. We see that we had a really strong upward move right here. How could this custom crosshair have helped us? Well, we click it on right here, the icon on our platform, and you see the way we apply it is we plot it on top of the buy-sell line, the 50-period moving average. And the crosshair in relationship to the 50-period moving average will tell you if there is strength or not in the move, okay? And this is all made easily applicable on our platform, the PTS Primo Charting Platform. Remember, you can only get this on our platform. It's not available anywhere else. We don't lease out this tool to Metastock or TradeStation. You can only find this on the PTS Primo Charting Platform. All right, so how do we use this? Let me share with you some technique examples. Remember, these are older charts just so that you can understand the process. Then I'm going to switch on over to live charts, charts that ended yesterday, and we'll look at some examples and how well it could have worked and helped you, okay? All right, so let's look once again, look at Netflix. And let's say we had purchased down here on this little, extension here, or this kind of pause in price, all right? And we've got a really nice profit. Now, at this point, you're starting to say, wow, I've got a nice profit here. Do I get out? Or maybe I should buy more shares. Or maybe I should just sell half of my position. You see, this is where most traders run into difficulty because they don't know what to do. They've never been taught. And this is where traders, go to a chat room, or they'll ask their friend, their neighbor down the street, or they'll look on TV to find out what to do. And this is why traders fail. Remember, our whole concept, our whole philosophy is that you have to make your own decisions. Don't rely on anyone or anyone else, or else most likely you'll join that 85 percentile where most traders fail. We don't want you to fail. We want you to be trading 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road. So how could this tool help you? Well, once you click on the icon, you'll see that you have the custom crosshairs. Now, this is how it works. Remember, it's the relationship between the 50-period moving average and the proprietary diagonal lines on the crosshair. So what you want to do is, once you reach some type of a high, or you've seen that you've gone up overextended, you place the crosshair not on the price, but right on the 50-period moving average, okay? Now, if you're looking to see if there is still strength left in the up move, what you want to see is where the 50-period moving average is in relation to the lower custom crosshair. If you see that the 50-period is well below that, that is a sign that you're running out of steam. We're not saying that to sell today. It may last a couple of days. It may last maybe another month more before it shows some, lack of strength. But it's just giving you a great clue that you may be running out of gas. So as we see here, the 50-period moving average in blue was kind of hugging that line, but it really wasn't well below it. So that's telling you that there's really no indication here. So it's okay to stay in the position if you want. Now, we kind of had a pause, but then we made higher highs. So let's move this higher now to this high right here when we gapped up. All right, now we see when we place the custom crosshair intersecting lines right on the 50-period moving average that coincide with that last price, look where the 50-period moving average is now. Now it is well below that custom crosshair. And so that's giving you a tremendous clue that we may be running out of steam. It's not saying that it definitely is and that we've reached the top. This is not a topping tool or a bottoming tool. It's just giving you a great insight. So now you can make a decision and say, well, listen, I think there's still room left in there. Maybe I'll raise my stop, or maybe I'll sell half of my position. And whatever you would have done, that would have been, good for the short term, because look at, we fell out of bed 3 days later, but then what happened? We bounced and went back up. So is this a valid bounce? Are we going to go back up? Was that just a pullback, and are we regaining strength and going back up? So let's move the crosshair higher to these highs, and look, we are still below. So this is telling you that this move, the second move upward, may not be valid. So you may want to continue to protect yourself, or maybe you were thinking about getting back in, and that may not be a good idea. And as you can see, it wasn't, because look what happened to price later on. You see how this tool was giving you a great insight into the strength of Netflix at that time. Let's look at another example here. Let's look at UPS. Now we've had a nice move, and let's say you purchased somewhere around here on this little pullback, this little small 3 or 4 day pullback, and you have a nice run up. But it looks pretty overextended. It's well above the 50-period moving average. Is this going to last forever? You've got a nice profit. You're not sure whether you should hold on or take some profits at a designated exit level. So, well, you turn on the custom crosshair, click on right here, and you can place it over this first upward move right here. And as you can see, the 50-period moving average is not even below the diagonal line. So it's telling you that it doesn't show any signs of topping right now. So as it continues to go higher, we move it higher on this high. Now we are a little bit below, all right? It's not enough to really tell us that we've topped out, but you may want to, start using a little caution here. And as we move it a couple of days more, now it's starting to get more pronounced below. So this is an early warning that you may want to take profits, may sell a portion of your position, or if you're thinking about buying more, hold off, because look what happened. Now we had a strong sell-off. And had you hold it on and waited and listened to those guys in the chat room, you would have given away all your profits, and now you'd be in the losing mode. And this is why most traders fail. You weren't listening to the market, you were listening to some guy in a chat room. Another example, all right? PSA, once again, has a really large extended move, and then it fell out of bed. Could this tool have helped you? All right, let's say you purchased somewhere around here on this sell-off, and you have a nice run-up. At the first really nice run-up, you place your stop, or you should say your custom crosshair, and we're not getting enough information. It's kind of hugging this lower line. And even though we sold off, look what happened right after that. So remember, this is a tool that's not designed to get you out at the top or the bottom. It's just simply an early warning as to the strength. And it didn't detect anything here. So right now you would have been kicking yourself saying, why didn't I sell? But look what happened right after that. So let's move it over to this level. Now it's still hugging, but it's not giving us enough information. Remember, the further away that buy-sell line is, that's the greater the clue. And we just don't have enough information. And as you can see, we went right back up. Now at this point, we are really well extended. Now we start to see the 50-period moving average going below. So this is our first sign here that we may want to protect our profit. After all, we got in somewhere down here. We have a really nice profit. So here's what we tell students as a suggestion. Remember, you're in charge. You can do whatever you want. If you want to sell at the market, that's up to you. If you want to just move your stop up. A lot of students say, well, how do I use this if I want to protect myself? Well, the first time you start to see that you are really well below that lower diagonal, you could maybe place a stop right below the next bar and then continue to track it up until you ultimately get stopped out, where you would have been stopped out right here. All right? Now, I know a lot of students will say, well, Steve, I got stopped out. I had a great profit, but look what happened. It went even higher. Okay, well, if we move the custom crosshair up to that final high day, look at what it is telling us. This is what we want to look for, something like this, when we are, the 50-period moving average is well below and well pronounced below the lower diagonal line. This is the tool telling you that there's a high chance that we are totally out of steam here and that you might want to get out or at least protect yourself. So even though you had exited right here, look what happened in the following days. Now looking back in hindsight, were you really so much worried that you got out at the top? It doesn't matter now. You're happy that you got out here. And that was a nice warning from this tool. One last look here in Amazon, the same process. Let's say we were lucky to get in down here. We just continue to track this every high we make. And now here we had some distinction that we were below, so you could have exited or maybe used that stop technique and it would have protected you, but look what happened. Now it starts to go up higher. So let's say you got back in. Well, we made a new high here. It's not giving us enough clues. Even though we sold off, it didn't give us any clues for that. As we continue to track, we see that it's a little bit below that lower diagonal, but still not giving us enough clues until we get to this point. Now we are well pronounced below the lower diagonal, so you may want to protect yourself, and that would have been a good idea because that's when Amazon started to exit and started to really fall out of bed there. Okay, one last example here. As we can see, BIIB really took off and it really had some nice gap ups here. Let's see how this tool could have helped us, all right? Let's say we were lucky enough to get in down here. If we placed our custom crosshair over this high, well, no information, even though we sold off. If you're not getting information that this is running out of steam, you may want to look at this as a buying opportunity. So for example here, once you had this top in place and it wasn't giving you a clue that you were out of gas, rather than kick yourself and say, boy, this stuff Steve told me about doesn't work, this may be a buying opportunity because it actually does work in the sense that it wasn't giving you clues that the trend was over. It wasn't running out of gas. So perhaps any selling might be viewed upon as a buying opportunity. And had you done that, had you purchased somewhere around these levels, well, look what happened, okay? So the tool was actually giving you a clue that we weren't out of gas. You may want to buy more. It's up to you. Remember, you are in charge. We are not someone here. This is not our goal to tell you what to do. If you've come to Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies thinking that we're going to tell you exactly where to buy and exactly where to sell, you've come to the wrong place. We're only an educational company that teaches you how to make your own decisions. Okay, so let's say you were lucky enough to purchase here. Well, you have a nice profit, and you can use the custom crosshair right here. Now it's a little bit more pronounced below, so you may want to take your profits. Look what happened. We went down 3 more days and then made even higher highs. So if we apply the custom crosshair, this is what you want to look for. A 50-period moving average that is well below the lower custom crosshair. That is a sign that we are really running out of steam and you may want to make a decision. And look what happened. After that, the steam had gone out of the upward move and it was pretty much out of favor to be buying. Okay. Now, as I said earlier, I want to share with you some live charts. And by live, I mean that the markets obviously are not open, but these are up to date in what happened yesterday. And I'll even take some suggestion from the audience today. I usually don't do this. Usually, I will just have a pre-made PowerPoint presentation. But I want to just share with you that this is not something that worked 2 years ago and has stopped working. You can see how this worked as simple as and easily as the last couple of weeks. I'm going to show you some examples. And you can also go to your question and answer box and type in, stocks that you would like me to look at. But please remember, these performance results are strictly for educational purposes only. We can in no way guarantee that any of the performance results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. So remember, all examples I'm about to share with you are strictly for educational purposes only. So as you're taking a brief moment to view our disclaimer, let's toggle on to our live charts right here. Just take me a second here, excuse me. Whoops, kind of went to the wrong place. There we go. All right, this is our PTS Primo Charting Platform, and we have an example here of Tiffany, all right? Tiffany is a great stock. It's had a nice run up, and then it's kind of fallen out of bed here. All right, how could this tool have helped us? Well, let's say we were lucky enough to buy Tiffany somewhere around here, okay? And as it was going up, how could the tool have helped us? Well, this is how simple it is. You click on the custom crosshair on our platform, and let's say once we got up to this high right here, okay? Remember, we don't place the custom crosshair over the price. What we want to do is go over the designated high or low that was made, and now we place it right here above. And as we can see right there, do you see how the 50-period moving average is well below the lower diagonal line? So now this is giving you a clue that you are most likely running out of gas. Now look what happened. Now this was in April. Now, it wasn't until beginning of May that the stock really started to fall out of bed. So I don't want you to think that this will tell you something and then the next day the stock will fall out of bed or go straight up. It doesn't work that way. Remember, this is an early warning clue here. You are supposed to make your own decisions. Now, let's say you had exited based off that and you're kicking yourself because it didn't do anything for the next month and it actually closed up higher. Well, let's place the custom crosshair over this closing high. You see how it's still well below? So the entire time, this was not viewed upon as a buying opportunity. You should be looking to sell or exit any position you have. And now look what happened to Tiffany, all right? Tiffany was roughly trading about 110, and now it's down roughly about 20 points. So you could have saved yourself 20 points by applying this simple tool. How you apply it is entirely up to you. But looking back in hindsight, where the stock is down to 90, that might not have been a bad exit right here when the stock was 107, 108, okay? Now, remember, we're applying this for overextended usage. We don't really care about markets that are kind of going sideways or had a little 1 or 2 point run. We want to see that price is either overextended above the 50 or overextended below the 50. As we see here, we are overextended below right here. All right, we're well below the 50 period. So how could this help us look at a bottom? Well, we see the corresponding low that was made and go up to the 50 period. Now, if you're looking to see if the strength has run out to the sell side, well, we want to see that 50 period moving average line, that blue line, above the top red diagonal. So where is it in relation to that top red diagonal? It's still below. So that's not really giving us a clue that the downward pressure is over. So any bounce that you get, you may want to view upon as a shorting opportunity. But once again, that's your decision. Remember, you have to take responsibility for your own trading. That's the only way you're going to become consistent. I know this from firsthand experience. When I was trading 42 years ago, I wanted my mentors to tell me exactly where to buy, where to sell, and exactly what to do. And I said, why can't you guys just tell me what you're doing and I'll just piggyback off what you're doing? And they said, Steve, trading doesn't work that way. Because one day when we're not here or when you're not available to contact us, you're not going to know what to do. And on top of that, maybe your risk parameters are different from our risk parameters. Maybe we have more money or less money than you have in your trading account. Maybe we like to trade 10 times a day. Maybe we like to trade once a month. You have to figure out what makes you feel comfortable. You can't just go to a website and copy what they're telling you to buy or sell. It's a recipe for disaster. So I said, so what will make me a consistent trader? And they said, education. If we educate you with the same things that have worked for us and then let you decide how you want to apply them, that will give you the strength to be in the markets 20, 30, 40 years. And guess what? 40 years later, I'm still here. So that's what works. Not going to a chat room and finding out what everyone does. Okay? So right here, you have a decision. You could say, well, listen, this is still telling me that the market is telling me that the trend may still not be over to the downside yet. Okay, so let's see. Let's look at another one here. Let's look at STZ. Okay, so I'll just simply type it up into my platform here. And as we can see, we had a really nice overextended move right here. Another thing I want to mention is when you're applying this, you want to have a good 2, 3, 4 months behind you. We started out this in January, okay? So we have a good, whenever we're looking, we have a good 2, 3, or 4 months. You don't want a chart where you only have a couple of weeks behind you. So wherever you're looking for some information with this particular tool, I'm just saying with this particular, you need to have at least a couple of months data prior to the insight, okay? All right, so let's see what happened here. We had this really extended nice run up right here, okay? Let's see if we were getting a warning sign. So we go right down here to the 50 period and look where the 50 period moving average is. It's really not giving us enough information. Sure, it's hugging that lower line and a little bit below it, but not enough to tell us that we're out of steam here, that we're running out of gas. And guess what? We only paused for a little bit and then we made much higher highs. Now let's look at this high right here. You just simply go down to the corresponding day and the corresponding 50 period moving average, and you think it's giving you a warning right here in STZ. This was at the end of April, coming into May, that we are running out of steam. Okay, see how the blue 50 period moving average was well below that lower diagonal. So that was giving you a clue that we may be running out of gas. You could have used that stop technique where you trail each preceding bar, or you could have exited altogether. Or let's say you were thinking about, you went to that chat room and they said, you've got to buy STZ. You've got to buy, this thing is going to be a $500 stock. Well, I don't think so. Maybe you would have held off simply by listening to the market as opposed to some guy who you have no idea if he's a consistent trader who's in a chat room or a trading room. And then we all see what happened coming into June here. Now, let's see if this has run out of steam. Now, we have a lower extended move below the 50. So we place this right here. And actually, no. Even though we've bounced, it's not giving us enough information that this downward run has ended. So perhaps it's not enough information, maybe not enough data, maybe not, it hasn't been overextended enough below the 50 period moving average, okay? Let's look at TSS, okay? And then I'll take some of your suggestions if you're interested. TSS, all right, now this has a real extended move. But as you can see here, we don't want to use it for this because it's kind of just hugging the 50 period moving average, hugging it. But look what happened here. Now it takes off. This is where you want to use the custom crosshair. So as we use it right here where we closed right up at highs, let's go down to these levels. And guess what? Right here, it's telling us that we may be running out of steam. Now remember, this is not telling you that it's going to be happening tomorrow. It's not telling you that it's going to be happening the next month. It's just an early warning. So you may want to move your stop up, or if you're thinking about buying this, you may want to hold off. Now let's go up to the last high right up here. Let's see if things have changed. As we come up to this level, nope, look at the 50-period moving average. It is well below the lower custom crosshair. So you may want to really take some caution if you're thinking about getting involved in this particular stock, because the custom crosshair, which listens to the market, is telling you that this may be running out of steam for a while. All right, so maybe wait for it to reconfigure until you get back into this. All right, let's see what some of the requests are from some people that went into our question and answer box. Okay, someone is asking me to look at GTLS. GTLS, okay, I'll punch that up. Taking your requests right here. Remember, this applies to stocks that have had some nice moves as of late. Oops. Let me see. I don't know why that's saying that. GT, or oh, I punched up GLTS. Okay, GTLS. There we go. And yes, it had a nice move to the downside here. Also had a nice move to the upside. Let's see when we made this upper move here. Okay, if we applied the crosshair on that high that was made, well, look at where the 50-period moving average was in relation to that. Do you see how the 50-period was well below? So that was giving us a clue that we were running out of steam. Now we have a nice downward move well below the 50. All right, so let's place it right here when this low was first made. Was it giving us a clue? Not really. Even though it was hugging the top diagonal, we want to see it well pronounced above that top diagonal. So that was telling us there's not really enough information. Sure, it may be bottoming out, maybe not. Maybe it's going lower. And in all reality, it actually did go lower. Let's see what happened on this latest low that was made right here. Well, we're starting to see a little bit more pronounced above the highest diagonal. So that may be giving you a early warning clue that if you're short, to cover or start lowering your stop, or maybe you may want to think about going long. It's up to you. But this is a nice clue that this sell-off may be running out of gas, as you can see here. Okay. All right. Someone is asking me to look at SHOP. Okay. SHOP. Let me look at that. SHOP. All right, this is at a really nice, well-extended move. Right here is not where you really want to use this because it's not that far above. But right here, when we really start to see this almost straight upward move, is where you want to apply this. Let's apply right here this last high that was made and see how it was giving you a well-pronounced indication. See how low the 50 was below that lower diagonal. That's what you want to see when you really want this early warning, okay? This is what we're looking for when you have that 50-period moving average well below the lowest diagonal, to tell you that we may be running out of steam. Now, it's once again, it's not saying that we will never go higher. It's just saying for right now, the market is telling you we may be out of gas. Time to maybe exit some positions, get ready for another setup to go long, okay? So that was a good example there. Letter A, someone's asking about letter A. Okay, I'll type in letter A. Remember, just type in whatever stocks you're interested in, and I can punch them up for you. Letter A. All right, now this had a really pronounced move to the downside. Could this tool have helped us? All right, let's see when we made this first low. All right, we simply moved the crosshair corresponding to that, and it was kind of hugging it. It was a little bit above, but not enough to tell us that, well, it's not going to go down any lower. You see how the 50-period moving average, that blue line was a little above, but not enough. Remember, we wanted to see it as far away from that top diagonal as possible. So that's not enough. Let's see what happened when we made this low down here. All right, now we move it above. And wow, we are well above it now. So this is what you're looking for. To see the 50-period moving average blue line, it's well above that red top diagonal. That's what you're looking for. That's the clue giving you an early warning that this sell-off may be over. Remember, this is not 100%. It's not a system. It's not guaranteed to work 100% of the time. It may take a while. You've seen examples where you get warnings like this and it takes a couple of weeks, maybe even a month before you see results. But as you can see here, this gave you a great result on the 31st of May. And look what happened. We've gone straight up ever since that. So this is a great, great way to see how this works, okay? We have time for one more. Someone is asking me to look at CASY, okay? CASY. Okay, well, this has had a really nice extended move. Let me just say here, first of all, you want to go back at least a couple of months. We've gone back at least 5 or 6 months here, okay, with data. But also, you want to see really strong moves up or down. As you can see, these moves are really not what the tool is for, because you want to see it well above. Now, right here, we are well above. We have a really well sustained upward move. If you're long, if you're lucky enough to be long this stock roughly at 130, well, you've got a nice 20, 30 point gain right now, all right? So this is where the tool helps you. Should you stay in, all right, if you don't have a designated exit point, or maybe you have an exit point at, let's say, 160, okay? The stock is roughly trading at 156, 157 right now. Let's say you want it to go 3 or 4 more points higher. You have a limit to sell there. That's where you think it should go, all right? Does it have enough steam left in there? Does it enough gas left in this move? Well, this is where this can help you. So let's see, when we made this high right here on this day, which was on the 20th of June, let's see if it would have helped us. We go down and wow, we are well below that lower diagonal. So this is really screaming out that you may want to be careful if you're long this stock. This may be running out of gas. It may be wanting to sell off and just take some type of a pullback, some type of a, a sell-off just to, recalibrate itself. And let's see if things change with what happened on Friday, okay? It closed at a higher high. And as you can see, it is still telling us that we are running out of gas. This may happen tomorrow. It may, I should say Monday. It may happen next month. We don't know. But if you're long this stock, I would say be very, very careful. That would be a suggestion. I'm not giving you any advice. I'm not giving you any recommendations. It's up to you. We're just telling you this tool is signaling that you may be running out of gas in Casey. So if you're long this stock, whoever requested me to punch this up, I would take extreme caution in staying long. Just the tool is telling you that, not me. It's suggesting that we're running out of gas. You are always free to make your own decision. For all we know, this could go up to 200. But the tool is basically telling you that it's running out of gas, okay? Okay, so once again, as we toggle back to the presentation, remember, all performance results are strictly for educational purposes only. We're not requesting or advising you to do anything with this. All examples were strictly for educational purposes only. So, as we recap, let's talk about what this tool does and how to apply it. Remember, the market, as my mentors told me, not some guy in a chat room, not some amazing system that never fails, or not some guy on TV, but the market. Not some even guy in a webinar that you're listening to on a Saturday morning. But the market is always telling you what it wants to do. So therefore, your only job as a trader is to listen to the market and jump on board. If you're wondering how to listen to the market, well, this tool does a great job of giving you an insight as to what the market wants to do. Remember, the custom crosshair technique is not a full-fledged strategy. It is not telling you to get out. It's not telling you to buy. It's not a full-fledged method that gives you those rules. You can apply it to up and down trending markets, but they have to be some distance away from the 50-period moving average. And remember, you want some data behind that. You don't want to be looking at a chart that only has 2 weeks worth of data. You need at least a couple of months to give you a full idea, all right? You can apply it to higher price markets. It works well with higher price markets, in my opinion. Remember, this has not been back tested, but just in my opinion, because that's where a lot of these big moves happen. Now, results may take 1 to 3 attempts. Remember, you may not see something. You may say, okay, wow, well, I'm using this, and Steve said that it should be running out of steam to the downside, and it continues to go lower. Remember, it may take a while to kick in, but it's a great insight into letting you know what may be going on, and you can protect yourself. And it'll give you greater insight so you can make your own decisions. That's all we're trying to do here, giving you some really nice research so that it'll help you make your own decisions. It's not making the decisions for you. Neither we do that or the custom crosshair doesn't do that either. So ask yourself, do you think this tool could have helped your trading this past year? Maybe you were involved in a position, you thought, gosh, this is great. And then a week later, you've given back all your profits and you said, what happened to that great trade I had? It went the opposite direction. Or maybe you were thinking about getting into something, but you didn't know if it bottomed out yet, and then you missed the bottom and it started to go straight up. All right, we have a great offer for all of you taking time out of your Saturday morning today. We're going to offer you a 30-day trial to our PTS Primo Charting Platform. This is the only platform where you will find our custom crosshair, or the strength of trend indicator. You won't find it anywhere else except on the PTS Primo Charting Platform. Now, we just are not going to offer you that. We're going to offer you not only the crosshair feature, but our enhanced buy-sell line. I've given webinars on that where we talk about how you can find out the overall trend of any market. Our short-term pattern recognition feature, which looks at the #1 price pattern you should be looking for. A signal scanner, where you can scan for a lot of methods and techniques. Over 90 of the most prominent technical indicators. But remember, we're not here to tell you how or how not to trade. So if you really want to rely on financial or education that comes from fundamental news, great. We've put in free Bloomberg TV. All right. So any economic indicator, any economic news that comes out, any announcement, you will have access to that live on our media page, which is on our platform. And then lastly, personalized tech support. You ever have a question, maybe something is working properly or you're not fully aware of how to apply it, our tech support will be there in a matter of moments. We have great testimonials about how quick and how responsive our tech support is. Remember, 30-day trial. This is over 40 years of experience, things I've accumulated, wrapped up in only $7. You can use everything. Everything is one click away. It's right there, and included with this comes with great support, and you will get my personalized email address where you can contact me whenever you like if you have a question. So you'll be a student of mine just for signing up for this 30-day trial. Here's how to take advantage of this great offer, okay? ProTrader Strategies and I designed the platform. We also designed that custom crosshair tool, the strength of trend tool. And so you can contact them or call them directly. Now that link you see below will take you directly to the sign up page if you want to sign up for the $7 offer, but it's not a live link. If you want to go to a live link where you just have to click it on and it automatically takes you up there and opens up the web browser, go to the chat box and go to webinar column on the far right. You'll see a chat box there and they've posted a live link. Click that on and we'll take you to the sign up page. Now if you have any questions concerning pricing, or if maybe you want to purchase a strategy or more techniques, there's absolutely no obligation. I would suggest contacting ProTrader Strategies. They're there to answer any question. They have trading consultants manning the phones right now on a Saturday. They would be happy to answer any questions. Absolutely no obligation. And they will be there to answer the phone and give you more information. But remember, if you want to take advantage of this $7 offer, please, this is something that's not going to last forever. I believe last week we posted a webinar where we had an entirely different offer that was running for roughly about $200. And so we give different specials each and every week. So take advantage of this while you can, okay? Now, if you have any questions, now's the time to ask me. I would be happy to do that. Just go to your question and answer box. I see someone has typed in, can I apply this custom crosshair to Metastock? No, it's only found, we're not licensing this out to any other platform. So if you have Ninja Trader, TradeStation, I know many of our strategies can be applied on them, but our certain proprietary techniques and tools we won't put on anywhere else because we just want them on our platform for right now. That's our way of giving you this information where you can only access it on our platform. But it's a great educational tool, and you'll see just how simple it is once you start using it. Now, $7, that's an amazing, amazing offer. I always tell that whenever I have this offer in my classes, I always tell you, I said, listen, if you want to go get a cup of coffee this morning for $2, you're going to spend $15, okay? And that'll last you, that cup of coffee will last you a good 15 minutes. This is over 40 years of education that I've accumulated in one platform, which is yours for 30 days. And you can experiment with it and you can use it, and it'll really, in my opinion, help you with your trading, okay? So another question here, Steve, does this work on futures? Yes, it does. I use it for futures because I mainly trade intraday futures. And remember, it doesn't matter if it's an intraday chart you're looking at or if it's a commodity chart that's looking at monthly charts. Wherever you see a really overextended trend, this is where this will help you, okay? Even if it's an upward move to the upside or a downward move to the downside. Okay, we use this, a lot of our students, this helped them tremendously. Do you remember at the end of the year, in December, coming into January, we had a really strong downward sustained move in the markets. The markets fell out of bed, all right? This tool helped a lot of our students because it didn't pick the bottom, but it told a lot of our students by looking at the indices that the strength was running out of gas to the downside. And maybe if you were short or maybe if you were thinking about getting in, it gave you a great insight that the trend may have been running out of gas to the downside and it was maybe time for it to go up. So it's a great, great tool. Don't worry, it can be used in any market, any time frame, any direction, okay? So as we conclude here, remember, take advantage of this offer. Next week, we'll probably have an entirely different offer. So if you sit on this and watch the video, we're going to send you all out a video link to this recording. But if you sit on this and then 2 weeks later say, you know what, I think I want to take advantage of that, we may not be offering the platform for $7. So take advantage of this. Remember, $7, I'm almost certain that most of you, if you were trading this week, spent more than $7 in commission costs alone. Well, this is $7 that can be applied to learning and education that can really help your trading going forward. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. The best thing to do is simply go to the chat box on the GoToWebinar column there and just click on that live link and it will take you to the sign up page, okay? All right, if there are no more questions, as we close here and you take one last look at our disclaimer, I want to thank you so much for attending today. I really wish you the best of luck of trading. You can see here how much attention to detail we give in really trying to educate you to take your trading to the next level. We are not a signal service. We're not telling you what to buy or sell. We're simply here trying to educate you because, in my sincere opinion, that's the only way you will become a consistent trader. So hopefully you will take advantage of this great, inexpensive offer and you'll become a student of mine at Specialist Trading. Thank you so much for attending. I wish you the best of luck. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.